Greetings, mortals, peers, and queers. The IRS routinely lets right-wing churches break tax law and endorse political candidates. The wall that separates church and state is crumbling at a time when Christian nationalism is on the rise in the GOP. Let's get into it. The religious right has long argued that the separation of church and state is a false premise and has focused their hatred on the Johnson Amendment, a 1954 law that threatens 501c3 organizations such as churches, charities, and universities with the loss of their tax-exempt status if they endorse political candidates. When he was president, Donald Trump promised to totally destroy the Johnson Amendment. However, he never got around to doing so. But as it turns out, it doesn't matter. A new investigation by ProPublica and Texas Tribune finds that right-wing churches routinely flout the law without fear of retribution by the IRS. Not good, in my opinion. If they break the law, hold them to it. Don't just let people break the law. At this point, thanks to Trump, some politically minded evangelical leaders have a sense that the Johnson Amendment just isn't really an issue anymore, and that they can go ahead and campaign for or against candidates or positions from the pulpit. David Brockman, a scholar in religious and public policy at the Baker Institute of Public Policy at Rice University, told the Joint Investigations. The article cites plenty of evidence. 6 days before the runoff election, Frisco, Dallas suburbs, Brandon Burden, a pastor of Kingdom of Life Church, told parishioners, "I got a candidate that God wants to win. I got a mayor that God wants to unseat. God wants to undo. God wants to shift the balance of power in our city, and I have jurisdiction over that this morning." The article also cites examples of ministers in Alaska, California, and New Mexico calling for the election of preferred candidates or to defeat demonic candidates, i.e., Democrats. The IRS will refuse to provide any details about ongoing investigations it may have underway, but its track record is clear. That not a lot, if anything, is happening. The last investigation that the article can dredge up is from 2004, when a pastor in I can't say that name, church in California gave an anti-war sermon. The pastor didn't endorse a candidate but criticized the war, which was being led by incumbent George W. Bush. The audit did not result in revoking of the church exempt status. The only time that happened was in 1992, when the New York church ran full-page ads in the newspaper, including the New York Times, under the heading "Christians Beware," warning voters not to vote for Bill Clinton. Of course, that's mild compared to what churches do these days. Increasingly conservative churches are political movements, not spiritual ones. Indeed, there is evidence that it's not religion that drives people's political views, but instead it's politics that drives people's religious views. More people are likely to identify as evangelical if they're Trump followers, even if they didn't identify as evangelical before Trump. Meanwhile, anti-LGBTQ groups have taken advantage of the IRS's hands-off attitude to hide their finances. Family Research Council and Focus on the Family are among 40 organizations that have classified themselves as churches, despite having virtually none of the usual characteristics of churches. But in doing so, they don't have to file forms that disclose their financial information, so no one knows how they spend their money. There is so much more to this article, but I'm running out of time. But I thought it was important to give you at least those bits. Yeah, this is terrible. We should hold these people to account. They are flagrantly breaking the law. And for that, they should be punished. Fair is fair. Anyways, I'll leave it there. Support me on Patreon, follow for more daily videos, and join the Discord. And with that, I wish you all a good evening.